In today's video, I want to talk about why a lot of you guys are struggling with your Amazon sales. You might be noticing that your sales year over year are declining. Maybe in 2022, you had a great year, but then 2023 went down a little bit. Maybe 2024 was somewhat the same. And now maybe you're noticing in 2025 that your sales are down 10, 15, 20%. And in this video, I want to talk to the bookseller. I want to talk to the person who is going to the thrift store, who is, sourcing from library sales maybe, or maybe you're possibly sourcing from pawn shops or consignment stores or a little bit of everything. I want to talk about why your sales are going down. And when I do coaching calls with people or I'm at events and I'm talking to Amazon sellers who are struggling, it's typically one main reason why they are struggling. Now, of course, there's a bunch of other little reasons why your sales might be dipping. That could include you're hoarding your items and you're not shipping them out. Another big one is repricing. So if you're not repricing your inventory, of course, your items aren't going to be selling as quickly. But the number one reason why people's sales stay the same or they decline is their ability to source quality items. I don't care if it's books, I don't care if it's DVDs, electronics, video games. Sourcing quality products is the lifeblood of your business. And if you're seeing your sales stagnate or stay the same or slowly decline, it's typically because you're not sourcing enough inventory. Or what could also be happening is the items that you're sourcing are not very high quality. So what I've noticed lately is a lot of the thrift stores are selling their own books on Amazon. People are scanning the books, they're keeping it, they're selling it themselves on eBay or Amazon, maybe locally. Maybe they're not putting their books on Facebook Marketplace as much. So, you're going out to thrift stores and library sales, you're spending your hard-earned money, gas money, your time, you're out scanning. And you have rules, right? You have rules maybe that I'm not going to buy anything less than $5 profit. But if you spent your time and you've driven all around your town and your state and you see something for $3 or $4 profit, you convince yourself to take it, right? Maybe you have a standard of not buying a book unless it has one sale per month or one or two sales per quarter. Of course, this is going to differ based on the item, if it's a seasonal textbook, so on and so forth. But you start to break your rules. So maybe you're buying less inventory or you're buying the same amount of inventory, but it's lower quality. So the question is, Steve, how does this help me? How do I find more inventory that's good quality? So the answer is twofold. Number one, experimenting with other types of sourcing, right? I have a good friend, Mike the Used Book Guy, who builds relationships with libraries, friends of the library, and he's able to essentially get these products before it hits the shelves, right? Before it even goes for sale in the library sales. I have friends of mine who build relationships with thrift stores, right? And they're able to negotiate deals for gaylords of books. I have friends of mine who are putting out wanted ads on Nextdoor. I have friends who are posting on Facebook Marketplace, putting out flyers, telling their friends. They're able to, get a ton of inventory through these out-of-the-box methods, right? But for some folks, they don't have the time to do that. You might be working a full-time job and you might be saying to yourself, Steve, I work a full-time job. I'm working 40 hours per week. I'm doing this business with my wife, or my husband, but we don't have a ton of time. We have 5, 10, 15 hours per week to run this business. And, for some folks, it's just a side hustle. It's a hobby. And they're happy making a couple $100, $500, $800, right? But for some of you guys and gals, you want to make $2,000 net profit, $5,000 net profit. Maybe you have goals of being able to get up to $10,000 a month profit, like I have in my business. If that's the case, you've really got to start looking into other methods of sourcing. And one of the ways that I recommend is online arbitrage. Now, what's online arbitrage and why am I such a huge proponent of online arbitrage? Well, first off, online arbitrage, it's the same thing that you're doing, right? Going to a thrift store, a library, a flea market, you're analyzing deals, you're buying low, you're selling high. Online arbitrage is the same thing. The only difference is you're buying these items online. And there's two ways. Well, there's actually three ways, but there's two ways that I see a lot of booksellers, media sellers, folks who sell video games, electronics, toys, scale with this model. It's either A, and this is for booksellers, buying books on Amazon, right? So doing Amazon to Amazon flips. If you guys follow my friend Joji Davenport or Victor Galejos, they do this full time. Joji, he quit his job. He was a full-time chemistry teacher, and for years, he literally buys books, mostly textbooks, college books, high school books in the off season, right? When they're not worth that much money, and he holds on to them for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. And then when the prices spike due to supply and demand, he sells them. Matter of fact, I believe in August, because it's textbook season right now, I think he just passed 60,000 in sales. And I was on a live stream with him the other day, and he said that he does about $300,000 in sales, and he's able to make $100,000 in profit, which is really great. The margins are super duper high. So I recommend looking into Amazon to Amazon book flips. The other method is eBay to Amazon flipping. This is what I do. And one of the reasons I love eBay opposed to, what Joji does, and what Joji does is great, and Victor and BookMind is a software that they run. But the thing with books is books are slower selling. You've kind of got to time the market. Of course, there's all year round books, but they're selling used products. In my opinion, there's more price tanking. There's multiple copies available. It's a lot easier to get a hold of these copies, so prices could tank. You kind of have to time the market. You really have to know what you're doing. Keepa charts are a little harder to read, but with eBay to Amazon, I flip mostly all new items. And it's not just books, it's DVDs, it's board games, it's video games. I'll put a bunch of screenshots of different items I've sold, what I bought them for, what I sold them for. But I love eBay to Amazon for that reason. It's a wide array of categories, right? Not just books. Although you could flip different items from Amazon to Amazon, but there's not like a ton of really great softwares out there for it. But I love flipping new condition. They sell faster. It's easier to look at a Keepa chart, to know what it's gonna sell for. A lot of the items that students of mine and myself purchase, right, and flip on Amazon, there's only 1, 2, 3 sellers. So the items are a little harder to come across, which means there's less sellers on the listing, there's less price tanking. Now, of course, that means you have to get a little bit savvy with your sourcing, but that's why I developed the tool Replay Catcher, which scrapes eBay 24/7 around the clock. And there's a bunch of plans with Replay Catcher. There's like 7 different plans, but all you have to know is if you're gonna start using Replay Catcher, just get the cheapest plan, because all the plans are the same. You get access to the live stream for all of them. It's just the plans get more expensive based on how many replays you're tracking. So Replay Catcher has a live stream where you can choose a category, put in your ROI, put in your profit, choose what you wanna flip, different metrics, right? Like the eBay seller feedback, the sales rank, monthly sales, and all you have to do is hit search and you get access to 2 million products. Plus Replay Catcher will filter out everything you're gated on. So you can integrate your Amazon account. You could connect your Amazon account to Replay Catcher and it'll filter out everything that you're restricted on. Plus, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Steve, I'm restricted on a bunch of stuff. I can't sell this item. I can't sell that item. Well, one tip that I always give people is when you're using Replay Catcher, look for all the items you're restricted on. And Replay Catcher adds a little button that says apply now. And all you have to do is hit apply now. And I did this the other day, right? When we released this feature, well, about 3 months ago, and I got auto-ungated in about 1,000 different brands and products. So you'd be shocked at the amount of items that you can actually apply to sell, which you think you're restricted on, but you're not. You just have to apply to sell, and a lot of times they'll just auto-ungate you. But also with eBay, what I love about it is you can make best offers. On Amazon, it's fantastic. It's great. I'm a huge fan of BookMind. I'm a huge fan of sourcing books, but you kind of have to buy the book for what it's available for on Amazon. And then you have to, buy from the merchants. Sometimes the books could be in bad condition. They don't really show the pictures on Amazon. The description could be off, but that's not a huge concern of mine. But what I like with eBay is you can see all the pictures, the description. Usually there's, more information about the product. And returns are super easy on eBay as well. Overall, the point I'm trying to make, I don't want to convince you to source on eBay or source on Amazon, right? I think they're both great options. Of course, I'm a little bit biased because, I flip items from eBay to Amazon. I've done over $700,000 in the last year. I flipped over 35,000 products in the last 5 years for $2.5 million. So I do this, I live this. But the thing is, if you want to grow your sales, you've got to get access to tons of products that have a good ROI, that have a good margin. And that's why I love online arbitrage, because when you're sourcing locally, you only have available what's in your 5, 10, 50 mile radius, right? I don't know how far out you go to source. And it takes a lot of time to go find those items. But if you have the capital, and this is a big, big but, because this is the downside to doing online arbitrage, is you're not going to buy a book with Book Mine on Amazon for $2 like at the thrift store. You're going to pay 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. Same with eBay, depending on your model. I flip a lot of high ticket items. My average selling price is over $100 per item. So I might be paying $30, $40, $50 per item. So it requires capital. That's the downside. But you're able to save time because softwares like Book Mine for Amazon and Amazon flips, or Replay Catcher if you want to sell everything and buy items from eBay to flip on Amazon, it makes it a lot easier to source. You're not having to scan each item at the thrift store, at the library sale. These softwares, these systems scan everything. And Replay Catcher, I mean, it's checking every 5, 10, 15 minutes, millions of products, literally millions of products. And guess what? On eBay, you could come across a deal that's maybe a 40% ROI and only makes you $10 profit, but you're like, you know what? I know sometimes shipments could get lost. I know sometimes there's returns. I know sometimes maybe prices could tank. It happens. I want a 60% ROI. So what do? You make a best offer. That is the most beautiful thing about sourcing items from eBay and flipping them on Amazon. You could always make a best offer, and there's auctions as well. I can't tell you how many hundreds of deals I've sourced from an auction on eBay that maybe ended at a weird time or people just weren't paying attention to it, right? So at the end of the day, if your sales are declining, if you're a smart reseller, you understand how to read Keepa charts, maybe you're sending in good stuff, but the problem is you can't find enough stuff. You got to start looking into online arbitrage. And I actually don't recommend people who are brand spanking new to start with online arbitrage. If you're watching this video and you're new, you've never sold an item, you don't have an account, you haven't been listing stuff, then forget everything I said in this video. For the first 3 to 6 months, you got to go thrifting. You got to go to library sales. You've got to learn how to scan and analyze. You've got to learn how to ship and list and use GoToLister. Learn how to set up your repricer. Because when you get into online arbitrage, you're playing with a bigger amount of money. And while the rewards are higher, the losses are higher as well. When you spend 20 bucks on a book or a DVD and then it never sells, you're out 20 bucks. I mean, if you go to a thrift store and you buy a DVD for $1 or $2, fine, you're out $1 or $2, but who cares because you bought 10 items for 20 bucks and one of them sold and made you 40. So it really doesn't matter that you made a couple mistakes. So the shortcomings that you have with your skill set as an Amazon seller, they show a lot more when you do an online arbitrage. Why? Because you're spending more money on the inventory. So my recommendation for folks is, listen, if your sales are stagnant, if they're declining year over year, if you want to be able to build a business that requires less time, and maybe even a business where you don't have to see or touch or list or ship the products or box them yourself. I've built a business now where I have virtual assistants who do all the sourcing for me. They leverage Replay Catcher. The items don't get shipped to my house anymore. A year and a half, I hired a prep center called Little Owl Prep. But I'm telling you, look into online arbitrage. I truly do believe that the thrifting model, just going out and scanning, it's not the same as it used to be. There's way more competitors out there now. The fees are higher. So back in the day in 2016, 17, 18, when I was doing a lot of the thrifting and stuff, and I still do it from time to time, I could get away selling a $10, $11, $12 book and make money. But now the fees, they eat you alive if you're selling this low ticket, I call it junk, but like if you're flipping books, making $1 or $2, you're just working minimum wage, honestly. Unless you have a big team and a warehouse and you're somehow able to make it work. For the average guy or gal watching this, I just really think for the first 3 to 6 months, you should learn how to thrift. You should do everything you possibly can. The margins are going to be insane. Save the money and then invest into either Amazon to Amazon flipping with Books Mine, or into eBay to Amazon flipping with a Replay Catcher. I really think that's a direction. And the reason I think that is the direction is because you spend less time, you can leverage your time. The average profit that I make per flip is over $30. Now I'm doing higher ticket items, but you could easily find items all day long that make you $10 to $20 profit all day long from Amazon to Amazon or eBay to Amazon. I'm telling you right now, I'm not the only one who does this. There's hundreds of people who do it. Matter of fact, with a Replay Catcher, just in the last 30 days, our users have spent almost $700,000 on eBay. And we don't have thousands of users, right? We don't even have hundreds, right? So we have a small group of people using Replay Catcher. Keep in mind, Replay Catcher is somewhat new. We started working on this about 2 years ago. We launched it out about a year and a half ago. I haven't been doing like a ton of promoting. I don't run ads, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, Steve, if Replay Catcher is so great, why don't you use it yourself? And someone said this the other day, and I was like, what do you mean? I've been spending on average $30,000 per month on eBay. Matter of fact, in the last 7 days alone, my team has spent over $18,000 with Replay Catcher in the last 7 days. Now you might be thinking, well, Steve, why are you spending so much over the last 7 days? Because Q4 is coming up. October, November, December. I'm a big toy seller. I flip a lot of toys, electronics, tools, DVDs. Those items pop off during Q4. So I want to spend as much money as possible now because I'm taking November and December off. And what I mean is I'm not going to stop selling, but I'm going to stop buying because in November, December, sometimes the warehouses at Amazon get so jam-packed that items don't even get checked in till like the end of December and it's too late, or sometimes January. So you've got all that cash sitting there just doing nothing, right? So I want my money turning. So I'm going to be going on vacation November and December, letting everything sell out. And then, I know sales will probably be a little slower January, February, because I'm going to sell out of everything. But that's what I like to do, right? We all get to run the business the way that we want to do it. And I did that last year and I loved it. It was great. Gave my team a break. Of course, I'm paying them as well to take a break because I appreciate them. I appreciate my team sourcing all the deals for me. But you don't have to hire a team when you first get started. But I'm telling you, learning the skill of sourcing online is great. I'm telling you, it could change the game for you. It could raise your average selling price. It could raise your average profit. It could save you time. Yes, you are spending money. And I don't recommend, again, doing this as a brand new seller. But if you're doing this for 6 to 12 months, selling books, thrifting, doing all that, what I would start to do is allocate maybe 10 to 20% of your time to learning how to do Amazon to Amazon or eBay to Amazon. Of course, pick what's best for you. I'm not here to convince you of which one to do. I can only share what I'm doing and what I see other people doing and having success with. But start to spend a little bit of time. And I had a coaching call the other day and I was talking to a gentleman, his name was Kevin, and I said, Kevin, in the beginning, you have to understand, just like when you learned how to go thrifting or you learned how to list your books, when you learned how to scan, it's not very profitable in the beginning because you're learning how to scan, you're learning how to analyze, you're learning all the nuances to the business. And the same applies with eBay to Amazon or Amazon to Amazon. There's differences, right? That's why I highly recommend getting a coach, going through videos, watching training, finding a mentor, whether it's free videos on YouTube or going through my eBay to Amazon masterclass, link down below, or finding a friend who's doing it, who takes you under their wing, right? But you have to remember the first couple weeks, the first couple months, you're learning. So don't go spend all this money and make all these mistakes. Learn, post in my eBay to Amazon Masterclass Facebook group or, in a community that you're a part of, maybe the Bookmind community. Do you think this is a good book? Do you think this is a good DVD? Do you think this is a good toy? And slowly but surely learn the skill of online arbitrage and start to slowly move into it and fade out. You don't have to quit thrifting and stuff, but I would slowly start to phase it out just because it's getting a lot harder now. Now, if you're killing it and you got a honey hole and you're making all this money, again, disregard everything I'm saying. If it ain't broke, you don't got to fix it. But more and more, I'm seeing people with these broken models, spending more time, margins are going down, they can't find as much. Goodwill, the thrift stores, the library sales are sending it in. You got all the thrift store vultures there, they're fighting, they're stressed, and they're like, there's got to be a better way. I found it. So did Joji. He found it with his book model. I found it with eBay to Amazon. I've been doing this for 5 years. This isn't like some new model. The other day, someone was like, I heard you found this new model of eBay to Amazon, Steve. Like, this is cool. Like, you got to let me know before like it gets saturated. Is it going to get saturated? Guys, I've been sharing this since 2021. This is nothing new. Joji, Victor, they've been sharing this for, I think, longer than that. This is nothing new. But a lot of people, they don't want to try anything new. They want to stay in their comfort zone, and that's fine, but you're going to have to learn to live with your results. Again, if you're killing it, disregard this. I'm not saying there aren't people out there killing it with thrifting who have honey holes, who found a system, who found a way. Trust me, there's ways, but if you're not able to figure it out, look into online arbitrage. I'm telling you guys. So I know that was a long-winded video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this maybe inspired you or motivated you or gave you a little bit of education possibly to take that next move. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. Again, feel free to check out my Facebook community or my eBay to Amazon masterclass or just watch my videos. I've got a ton of free content. I'm here to help you guys. But with that being said, much love, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.